I was just reminding them that in this best of 5, Cham does have a 1-0 advantage because Cham was never locked down to the he was never knocked down to the lower bracket, so he will have that going into this series. Meanwhile, it's essentially as if Rhizer needs to win a best of 5. Cham only needs to win a best of 3. He only needs 2 wins, whereas Rhizer needs 3. As we are diving into this best of 5 grand finals and spawning in the top right hand corner of Hardwire LE, we have the Mexican Zerg player representing Team GP. It is Cham. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner of Hardwire LE, we have the American Protoss player. He is blue. Blue? What? Oh my god, I am tired. He is purple. Representing Team License to Kill LTK, it is Rhizer. I'm just looking at the chat. Hey, Rhizer's here in the chat. GG, well played, Rhizer. Well played. I'm sure he's going to tune into the VODs later, but very well played. He learned that from Zest versus Max Packs. Oh. As Cham is a little bit annoyed, that's unfortunately he has to take the unnatural natural. It happens. It happens. Feels bad, man. But yeah, give plenty of love to Rhizer. He's there in the chats, or he was there before his game started. And of course, for sure saying I think it's rigged. True. Hashtag rigged in the chat, or exclamation mark rigged in the chat. But before that, make sure you Fonada for sure. Always. As we get into this grand finals. And I see Logic asking in the chat, how does he get that American banner near his Nexus? That is a mod for casters. It is called Logos mod for casters, and it does allow us to do a couple of things. The first thing is we can add things like logos on the map itself. Unfortunately, it only works currently on the old map pool, so 2000 Atmospheres and Blackburn. Unfortunately, there are some bugs in the new map pool that were not ironed out when they got released, and the banners are not showing. So yeah, if you want to see those banners, they show on Romanticide, Eternal Empire, you know, every single map. Not these ones though, not Hardwire, Curious Minds. So bit of a feels bad, man, bit of a feels bad. But that is how we get like logos in the middle of the map. That's how we get like the banners with the flags and the teams and all that good stuff. Yeah, hopefully Blizzard is able to update their maps and allow that. If you're wondering, essentially in the data file of these maps, there's supposed to be like a section here open and available for the logos mod to make use of. But in these maps it's not there, unfortunately. And the like new version has to be updated to the latter map pool. But it's not there at the moment, and we don't know if it ever will be. So a bit of a feels bad, man. Bit of a feels bad, but it's fine. It's fine. We will make do. We'll make do. Oh boy. Meanwhile, where's the prediction? True. You know what? Nah. We're not gonna have some predictions. I feel weird doing a prediction for a finals where a player already has a point advantage. I feel like that's a little bit unfair for the predictions. If we had a grand finals that started off as 0-0, then I would have them, but at the moment for this grand finals, we won't have predictions. I do apologize, but I feel like that's a little bit weighted to one player's favor. Oof. Meanwhile, here we go. We are diving into the series. And so far, so good. Everything is looking pretty standard. We had a Stargate opener. We have, of course, the Void Ray first, which deals with the Overlord, and an Oracle to follow things up. So nothing too special coming out from Rhizer. Meanwhile, Cham is just doing regular Zerg things. Just droning up, making queens. Again, nothing really special at the moment. We do have Lings trying to pick up whatever they can. They do get a single one of those probes. Meanwhile, the Oracle is going across the map, and there is the first sign we were looking for. +1 air attack is on the way, so Rhizer is going to go for Sky Toss. Meanwhile, the Oracle gets across the map. There are spores here, thankfully, so Cham should be okay. He still loses 2 workers, though. Ooh. Nice pickoffs there by Rhizer, and he does keep this Oracle alive to dip in later on. Again, very important for him to scout for things like fast lairs, fast gases, evo chambers, anything of that nature. As we do have that second Stargate on the way. So again, because we saw +1 air attack, we should be seeing double Stargate Void. No, the probes are stuck. Adepts, please. Adepts, please. Oh, meanwhile, the Oracle does barely escape with 1 HP. Oh my god. Jesus, how did that happen? Meanwhile, we have a bit of a pile-up happening. This is actually there we go. That was actually getting significant. That was 6 probes just chilling, not doing anything for a while. But thankfully, they get back to work. Thankfully. Yo, Rekor in the chat. Rocker even. Cheering for the LTK boys. Let's go. You know what, Cham is able to pick off a couple of workers here and there. Void Rays are trying to do whatever they can, and yo, this 4th base is looking quite exposed. So I'm sure Rhizer is going to be looking to try and deny that. Meanwhile, the Queens are not in position at all to protect that 4th. So we should be seeing a cancel. Meanwhile, the big thing that we see is that with the completion of that lair, we see a Spire in production for Cham. There we go, just in time we do see the cancel there. Cham immediately remaking it as soon as possible. Spire is behind the natural and quickly checking the vision. Rhizer still has not seen said Spire, and he actually wants to go back in. Yo, there's not enough transfuses there's not enough energy for a transfuse, but the 4th Queen does join up. We'll be able to keep the Queen alive. Oh, there we go. Beautiful. As Cham does barely keep this up and protect his 4th. Behind this, I do appreciate this. Even though we had a double Stargate opener, we see a hard switch into ground toss. That's a lot of gateways. Ay, ay, ay. 6, 7, 8 gates on the way. We got +1. We're going to be getting into charge, I imagine, alongside these Void Rays. Meanwhile, because this has gone unscouted, Cham is going for the mutas. You'll love to see the mutas are going to be looking to get into a mineral line and maybe even go toe-to-toe with some of these Void Rays. Unlikely, but again, just dance around and get some worker kills. And again, unfortunately, Rhizer, he's in the dark. He has no idea. Oh, now he does. God, this was so important. Immediately, we see Phoenix production started for Rhizer. God, again, we were talking about it earlier. It's so important to keep this Oracle alive. If it wasn't for this Oracle, these mutas wouldn't have been scouted as quickly as they were. And now he can prepare at home. We do see a couple of cannons, a couple of shield batteries going to be throwing down as well in the mineral lines. Media's doing whatever they can, but again, because they were scouted, Rhizer, he's preparing. He's good. He's solid. Here we go. Mutas do come in, do get 5 probe kills despite all this stack defense. Damage is still being done, and for the most part, I believe, yep, only 1 muta has fallen. So very nicely done here by Cham. Meanwhile, at the same time, going for a massive link run by Yo. Can he get the base? The Zealots, they're trying to keep it alive, but they cannot. The DPS is far too high, and Rhizer is forced to remake this 4th. Yo, but Cham does not intend to let him do it. He's going for another link run by. At the same time, mutants actually get on top of the Phoenixes. One of the Phoenixes will get picked off, but again, there are maybe an overcommitment into Phoenixes here. The problem is that Cham is not making more mutas, and Rhizer has continued Phoenix production. Like, this is not what you want against Corruptors. Meanwhile, at the same time, the Ling Roach wants to hit that 4th base again, but this time there are plenty of Zealots to defend. Rhizer will hold on to his 4th base, and he will also clean up these mutas, but is stuck with a lot of Phoenixes. Hopefully, he's able to find some value with them. Fingers crossed, mate. Fingers crossed. Just morphing in those Archons again. Archons do beautifully to to accompany these Void Rays, help round them out, help them out against these Corruptors especially. Behind this, Cham has really been droning up. Look at that, 91 drones already completed. 5th base is on the way. Oh, as the 2 armies do clash, a decent amount of Corruptors do go down. My wonder is there enough of a ground army here for Cham? Okay, he does have plenty of Queens. He does have Roaches coming out, reinforcing here. Cham should have enough to deflect Rhizer. Rhizer sticking around a little bit longer here, wants to push in, but has to be careful not to overextend. Comes in with another reinforcement wave of zealots. But the Banelings are done. Baneling speed may not be, but again, we saw plenty of them, Jesus Christ. As they do connect, they do crash in with the zealots. And is it going to be enough? We see another wave of zealots coming in, but there are just so many corruptors. The war prism gets taken out, cancels the warp into zealots. And Cham doesn't just take out the army, he crushes the army. And from here, he can just go for a counterattack. And Rhizer, that was everything he had. Again, there was nothing really forcing him to push in here. Like, he was getting his fourth up and running. He was getting saturated. He could have worked on a follow-up tech. But instead, he wanted to try and hit this timing with all of his production, with his zealots, with his void rays, and it was just not meant to be. Ay, ay, ay. And from here, I don't see how Rhizer can come back from this. Like, sure, he's working on a fleet beacon, sure, he's working on disruptors, and to be fair, Cham actually comes back home. These roaches are already getting a decent amount done, and Cham, he's taking up, you know, he's working on a hive, he's working on an ultra cavern. I imagine spellcasters from here as well. Oh boy. To be fair, this is great. At the same time, Rhizer, he actually sneaks in with some zealots. This is what Rhizer needs to be doing. He needs to try and harass the mineral lines. He needs to keep the economy of Cham low and keep him busy so he can come back in this game. The zealot run by is a start. This is a great start, but we need more than this. Oh boy. As Cham, other than that run by, has been left alone at home. Oh god, we've got Adrenal on the way, Kindness plating as well to get into the ultras. Cham close to maxing out, not with the best army, of course, very inflated because of these roaches, but regardless, still better than nothing. Which it feels like Rhizer has. Oh god. Here we go, show me the Novas. As we don't see any going out now, not yet. Rhizer holding on to them, waiting for the opportune moment. Cham maxing out. And again, looking to trade. He doesn't want roaches. No one wants roaches. He wants to trade them out and get rid of them for ultras instead, as the first ultra is on the way. But Cham doesn't want to throw it away. He wants to trade as efficiently as possible. And yeah, he's just waiting for Rhizer to come to him. Oh god, the Novas are coming out. Oh god! And they get the juiciest connection with these roaches at the same time. The corruptors come in and oh god, they are going to get a kill on this Nexus. These roaches here honestly not doing too much, as they are on A move trying to kill that cannon. But the corruptors do pay for themselves. They do get the main base. At the same time, roaches hitting the fourth base as well. This time, this roach run by will deal damage. And Cham is just pulling Rhizer apart. Again, just look at his bank. Like, sure, the supplies were evening up a little bit, but Cham, he can just rebuild. I'm not convinced by this army. Ling's okay, sure. Okay, alright, Corruptors, yeah, you got me, mate. Much more fond of that. But Cham has to be careful because Cham only has a single Corruptor remaining, and Rhizer is working on Tempests. Oh boy. But it may not matter. Because Cham just goes for a massive run by. He may lose this army, but you know what? He gets a fourth base. Again, crippling the economy of Rhizer. Very expensive run by, though. Just bear that in mind. Bear that in mind. As Cham has been trading pretty inefficiently for the past couple of minutes. She's a little bit worrying, to say the least. Another bit of a run by. Meanwhile, shout out to I Love Oof. Thank you so much for the raid. If you're wondering what this is, we are here in the grand finals of Battle of the Americas, a weekly tournament for North American and Latin American players. And we're in game one. I say game one. Cham does have a lead here in this series because he comes from the upper bracket. And so far, so good. Cham, he does have his Broodlords, his Corruptors, Vipers finally coming out. We've been waiting for a while, or at least I've been waiting for a while to see them pop out. And now they finally are showing up. But yes, thank you so much. I love Oof. Hope you enjoyed your ladder session. I assume it was a ladder session. As again, I love Oof. He is quite a regular in the ESL Open Cups, Americas especially. As we do see Rhizer, he's popping off, he's pushing out. He's got quite a Protoss death ball. Does Cham have enough to deal with this? He needs a little bit more time to gather energy on those Vipers. Broodlord's doing whatever they can. Ooh, Void Ray's overextending a little bit. They're going to get picked off. Before the real engagement happens, we do see the army trying to dive on top of those Broodlords. Can he do it? Can Rhizer blink under them? And he will. The Broodlords are getting picked off. But at the same time, Rhizer is running out of supply, and we have Ultras to reinforce. Even if Rhizer cleans up every single one of these Broodlords, the reinforcements, the bank of Cham is going to get him through this. Here we go, as Rhizer's trying his best to chase this down. Sure, he took a base. Sure, he got 15 drones, which is great. But at the same time, Cham denied the 4th base once again from Rhizer. Rhizer is all in. And 7 Ultras are going to come out. It's insane. Rhizer's probably thinking, oh, I did it. I killed the Broodlords, but no, the Ultras pop out. Right in the face of the army. We see the full surround, blinding clouds as well. GG gets called, and Cham takes the game. Ay. GG, Cham takes a 2-0 lead in this grand finals. Honestly, I'm impressed with how Rhizer was able to come back, but that 4th base was denied time and time again by Cham. Maybe in very inefficient ways, but Cham could afford it because this man was loaded. He was rich. He had so many resources, so much minerals and gas to spend, so he could afford throwing away 50 supply and roaches to kill a base. And as we saw, he could afford to lose an army of Broodlords to rebuild them with Ultras. Brutal, mate, brutal. As that is the end of our first game of this series, and now Cham only needs one more to be our Battle of the Americas champion. Meanwhile, Rhizer, he's got to bring it back, mate. He needs to win 3 games in a row if he wants to be, or to take the mantle here of Battle of the Americas champion. But again, if you are tuning in for the first time, this is a weekly tournament. Every single week we have Battle of the Americas. It's a tournament for players from North and South America. And very fittingly, we have a North American and Latin American Grand Finals, which is typically what we have here in Battle of the Americas. I'm not saying that the seeds are done in such a way to make this, but it's possible. It's possible. As we are diving into game number 2, I guess for less confusion, game number 3 of this best of 5 grand finals, and spawning in the top left hand corner of Pride of Altares LE, we have the Mexican Zerg player representing Team GP, now returning from Korea, residing in Mexico. It is Cham. And spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Pride of Altares LE, we have the American Protoss player. He is purple, representing Team License to Kill. Currently down in the series, but not out. He has an opportunity to make the comeback happen. It is Rhizer. And here we are in a very interesting map, to say the least. For those wondering, this isn't the largest map. The largest map is Glittering Ashes, but Pride of Altares has the longest rush distance from base to base. It is the longest map, and as a result, queen pushes are not necessarily what you want to be going for. To be fair, Cham doesn't necessarily lean towards that kind of style anyway. He has his own way of going for things. Meanwhile, yo, he's opening it with a forge? What? What is happening right now? We have a pylon block here at the natural base. Is Rhizer gonna cannon rush, or is this just a forge expand? Oh, what? Are we in Heart of the Swarm? No, he's cannon rushing. He's going for it. Let's go. Pylon is thrown down. Rhizer wants to deny the third. Or natural even. Meanwhile, boys are being pulled. Cham has eyes on this, but is it too late as the pylons are getting up? The wall has been erected. And Rhizer will be able to throw down some cannons. This is so odd. Okay, this is the first time I'm seeing this here on Pride of Altaris. We'll see if it works out here as the cannons are going to finish. Cham does have queens and lings on the way though. Can he try and keep this base up and running? We shall see as the lings are all being cleaned up. Oh, it's not looking good. Cham does end up evacuating here. And just like this, Rhizer keeps Cham on one base, especially because we have this pylon to deny the natural as well. But as a response, we have a Roach Warren here from Cham, so we'll see what he plans to do. Obviously, with these roaches, he'll be able to clean up any kind of pylons and cannons. Oh my god, he's going for a proxy hatch! I didn't even notice! Mate, mate, there's just so much going on right now. Jesus Christ, here we go. Roaches are on the way. Cham going for the counter aggression, but the cannons are already finishing up at home. But the Cybercore, is it going to finish? Ooh, just barely survives. Again, currently no production. Unfortunately for Rhizer, he went Forged Nexus, when honestly he probably should have gone Forged Gate. Because of this, he doesn't really have much at home to defend. We do have a Zealot across the map, question mark. But this Nexus isn't really doing much. He will be able to overcharge, I guess. But he just doesn't have much of an army. Meanwhile, Hatchery does finish. Ravagers are on the way. They just got morphed in. Queen actually waddled all the way across the map. Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. And we are now here. Yo, this Cybercore is so low. I can't imagine this Cybercore is gonna live for much longer. And with the death of this Cybercore, there aren't gonna be any more Stalkers. Ay, ay, ay. Well, before we get to the Cybercore, first we have the Gateway, and the Gateway is getting ever so lower. We do have an overcharge to try and keep it alive, but what do we have to defend? We have a single Stalker, and this Stalker isn't going to deal too much damage at all, especially because we have Queens to transfuse. Overcharge runs out, and now that it's run out, we're going to see the death of these buildings. Files land, Cybercore goes down. We only have 2 Stalkers, and that is it. Thankfully, the Stargate was started before the Cybercore fell, but oh my god, Rhizer needs so much time to get Void Rays up. Again, Rhizer forced this response from Cham, and the Gateway falls. There's no more production here. There's a single Gateway remaining. There is no Warp Gate. There is nothing on the way, not even a Zealot. Overcharge was already wasted earlier, and Cham, he's working his way through into the main base, not just into the main. Mate, he is working his way through to be today's champion. Oh my god. You made this happen, Rhizer. You forced this response. We have another overcharge. It's trying desperately to keep the pylon alive. Oh, he just barely is. He's buying so much time. Oh my god. And he does buy time, but the shield battery will still go down regardless. So will the pylon. The Void Ray will not finish. We do have another pylon finishing up. Yo, if the Void Ray finishes, I still don't think it's going to be enough. And it will not finish. GG gets called. Cham takes the series 3-0. GG, well played. Such an odd cannon rush, going for a Forged Nexus. It was interesting to say the least. Obviously we saw the Nexus didn't really come into play. I guess Rhizer didn't anticipate Cham to respond the way he did with a proxy hatchery, but I mean, what do you expect? You know, when you kill a Nexus, sorry, when you kill a natural base like that, you're forcing Cham all in on one base. And just like that, he was able to execute his response beautifully with those Ravagers, with those Roaches, and those Queens. Even willing to waddle Queens all the way across the map on Pride of Altaris. And mate, it worked. It worked. Congratulations, Cham. But other than of course, Cham deserving his congratulations, I want to give a bit of a shout out to Rhizer, because we have had 74 weeklies for Battle of the Americas. Battle of the Americas has been running ever since the very beginning of 2020. Every single week we've been here. And Rhizer hasn't really been a regular here before. You know, he hasn't really participated in too many of these tournaments. So now for him to make it to the finals, I just quickly checked. He has never made it to the grand finals before. He has never even made it to the top 4. So again, very impressive to see Rhizer finally showing up for the first time and performing well enough to take down Trigger and move on to the grand finals and still earn some money. So yeah, congratulations Rhizer, well deserved placing this highly, and I hope we get to see more. For those wondering, and again, I imagine there are probably people watching this tournament for the first time, Cham, he's the champion. Cham has won the majority of Battle of the Americas. Let me just quickly check here. In total, Cham has won 33 out of the 74 Battle of the Americas. It's insane. This is his tournament. He is the player to beat. Just under him is Nina with 10 wins. Nina does typically take it to Cham whenever she can. And just under Nina is Trigger. So yeah, and under them is Special and Vindicta. Fun fact, Special and Vindicta, they do sign up whenever they can, but I don't find anywhere near as much success. Especially because Special is usually asleep. Like, when he was living in Korea, Special very rarely woke up early enough to play in this tournament. On the weekends especially. That hashtag gamer lifestyle. But yeah, congratulations Rhizer to make it to second place here, and congratulations Cham on winning another Battle of the Americas. Fun fact, this is now his 34th gold medal here in this tournament series, so a lot of wins, mate. And with that, I also want to give a bit of a shout out to I Love Oof. Thank you so much, I Love Oof. Again, I didn't see him in the chat. Oh, no, I kind of did. I guess he pogged out. But I hope he did enjoy his ladder session. And thank you so much for the raid. We appreciate the support. We appreciate the love. And I hope everyone had a good time today. We had a pretty long broadcast. Not the longest. I think we've casted 14 hours in a row before. Actually, multiple times we've done that. But we casted quite a number of tournaments. I highly recommend the VODs if you're interested. We started off today with NA Apprentice. We had the NA Apprentice qualifiers earlier today, and we casted quite a lot of American and Latin American players. Specifically, I recommend a PvP between Probe Scout and Awesome Source. It was insane. There were cannons, there were proxies, there were ninja bases, there were cannons versus cannons. There were proxy stargates. It was nonsense, and it was a lot of fun. So if you ever have the time, I do recommend heading over to the VODs on this Twitch channel and checking out that. After NA Apprentice, we also had our BTL cast. If you're wondering what that is, that was Berserker Team League. The CranKy Ducklings, we also have a pro team. We have players that we have signed, we pay them a salary, and we have signed up for a North American team league, which is called Berserker Team League. And I won't spoil it, but we did go up against NA Apprentice today, which is another NA team, and it was quite a series, to say the least. It was a best of 5 pro league format. So if you're interested in that, we also did cast that earlier today. Every single week we always cast and cover our own BTL match. Next week we are going up against Dominaticus Esports, which is a Korean team. But next week is the last week of the round robin format, of the round robin group stage. After that we move on to the playoffs, and I'm pretty sure the CranKy Ducklings have secured ourselves a spot in those playoffs where we will be facing teams like Apprentice Esports and License to Kill. License to Kill, of course, being Rhizer's team and Rocker's team, who was here earlier. So again, the best teams in North America are going to be duking it out. We aren't necessarily a North American team. We're like a Latin American / North American / Oceanic team. But regardless, mate, we're popping off, and we're proving ourselves. So it has been a lot of fun. And then we dove straight into Battle of the Americas. Typically, Battle of the Americas is yesterday. It's typically on Saturdays, evening time in North America. But it was postponed because we casted Team Liquid Star League yesterday. The TSL 8 qualifiers were yesterday, and we were lucky enough to cast players like Armani, Scarlet, Estrella, Zaun, Nightmare, Ryung. If you're interested in those VODs, then check them out as well, as here on the CranKy Ducklings, we cast everything. TSL, DreamHack, King of Battles, these weekly tournaments, North American, Latin American, Korean, ESL Open Cups. It is all here on the CranKy Ducklings. So if you are interested, if you enjoyed our casting, usually I have a co-caster, but today was a little bit more impromptu, and I did cast with Kura earlier, but not for the entire day. Usually I have a co-caster. And if you're interested in our casting, then consider following us here. You may also recognize us and our voices because we were also part of the B stream for DreamHack this entire year. We covered all the regions, and yeah, we had a good time, and we had a great response as well to that. So massive love, massive shout out to everyone in the chat who have been supporting us for the past couple of years. It's because of our supporters, it's because of our Twitch subscribers and our Patreons that we are able to fund and run our tournaments and even fund our pro team. So it's thanks to you guys that we can make that happen. If you're interested in supporting us, then of course you can always subscribe on subscribe on Twitch. We have our Patreon channel as well with a bunch of rewards if you're interested in supporting us that way. Otherwise, all that I ask is consider following us. Consider following us here on Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We have plenty of social media, and we post whenever we go live. We also post whenever we upload VODs to YouTube if you would rather watch VODs there instead. So consider subscribing over on YouTube as well. And yeah, again, just thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Before I forget, exclamation mark Matcherino in the chat if you want to have a look at the Matcherino page for this tournament. You can add 50 cents for free to the prize pool, and I just checked, there are plenty of codes remaining. I should have promoted this a little bit better earlier on, but yes, Matcherino, check it out. There is a page every single time for Battle of the Americas, and there are plenty of codes remaining, so be sure to use that code before you head off to help support both Cham and Rhizer, as 100% of the Matcherino money goes to the players. And with that, I think I'm done. If you're interested in my solo stuff, I also have my own personal Twitch channel where I stream ladder sessions and play Final Fantasy. But I have been on a hiatus recently just because we've been busy casting here on the CranKy Ducklings. We've been very busy. We've been very busy here on the CranKy Ducklings, just covering and casting every single day for the past couple of weeks. Ever since DreamHack Winter, it's been non-stop, and it's been a stomp as well. God, I feel like the fatigue is setting in a little bit, but I think we have a couple of days off this week, so I'm going to be using that to rest a little bit longer. And yes, if you're interested, I also cast ANZ Champs over at ESL Australia. ESL do God, what's the word I'm looking for? They do bring along myself alongside Pig, Maynard, Zeph. They're going to be covering ANZ Champs because ANZ Champs is currently underway. The best from Australia are duking it out there, like players like Oreo and Starduck are in Ducklings. And the playoffs are starting, or have already started. And in the next couple of weeks, I'm going to be casting alongside Pig and Maynard, as well as Zeph. So that is going to be a lot of fun as well. And yeah, with that, I'm gonna go pass out. I've been casting ever since 6 a.m. this morning. I need to rest, I need to sleep. And really what that means is I'm gonna go have some breakfast and then edit some VODs for YouTube. Woo! Thanks everyone for watching. Also, don't forget to exclamation mark Funada Starduck in the chat. He is of course our Australian Protoss player, and he played well today. He played well in NA Apprentice. In his BTL match against Apprentice Esports. but he should still be Funadad. Oh god. Yeah, with that, thank you so much everyone for tuning in. Stick around, we're gonna raid another channel. I'm not too sure who. You know what? Let's do this together. We very rarely do this together. Let's open up the StarCraft 2 directory. Who is streaming right now? Who deserves that raid? God damn it, Jim Rising is playing Age of Empires 4. Neuro is streaming with a lot of viewers. Maynard is playing Doom Eternal. Zergirl is streaming again. I thought she was working full time. Ooh, Florencio is on. Hud is playing Age of Empires 4. Right now, I'm feeling Florencio. I feel like he is looking to be the one to be the person most in need. Oh, M. Canning. And those are the big ones that stand out to me. So, yeah, especially because, you know what? Florencio, he raided us the other day, so let's return the favor. If you want to stay tuned, give some love to Florencio. He is a North American Protoss player. He may not be a pro player, but he does love to have fun and do the dirtiest of things on the ladder. I didn't even know if it's TOS, like, if he can get past TOS. I don't know how he's live on Twitch. It's disgusting, but there's also some beauty to it, so head on over there, give him plenty of love, and thank you so much for watching. Ciao! We'll see you next time.